Becket and the murder in the cathedral. Now, Becket was born in London in 1118 A.D., the son of a middle-class merchant of some report Anglo-Saxon stock, some say Norman stock. We're not quite sure. His early life gave no hint of the exalted ranks of Christian holy men he was one day destined to join. His student life in Paris consisted mostly of whoring, gambling, and tomfoolery, and gave no suggestion at all of any deep spiritual or religious convictions. By 1142, Becket is on the staff at Canterbury Cathedral, and he is noted for his intelligence and administrative skills, rather than his deep devotion to Christ. Nevertheless, Becket soon rises up the church's ranks of clerics to become archdeacon. He's not a priest, he's an archdeacon. By 1155, Becket is recommended to the young Henry II by the Canterbury Archbishop Theobald for one of the highest offices in the land of England, Chancellor of the Realm. Becket and Henry II like each other immediately. Both are quick-tempered and never hesitate to speak their own minds. They're always speaking their minds no matter what. They drink together, they gamble together, and often share women together. But then one day, the Archbishop of Canterbury dies and spoils all the fun. Henry II says to Thomas, I've decided to make you the next Archbishop of Canterbury. Well, Becket is rather perplexed by the king's proposal. But sire, says Thomas, I'm still only a clerk. I'm not even a priest. Well, the king says, then we will have to do something about that. Becket already anticipates the conflicts ahead and hesitates to accept the position. From that point on, things begin to happen very fast. On June 2nd, 1162, Becket is ordained as a priest. By the next day, he is consecrated as bishop and then enthroned as archbishop in the Canterbury Cathedral. From that moment on, to everyone's surprise, especially King Henry II, Thomas Becket changes dramatically. He takes on his new role as archbishop with complete and unbending conviction. He becomes conscientious about his new responsibilities and argues frequently with the king, especially about the legal system. King Henry II wants criminous church clerks and clergy to be tried and convicted in his secular court system, not in the church courts, and punished by the more severe secular English law. The clergy, of course, wants to avoid the often horrific and, well, beyond brutal punishments given out by the secular courts. And, well, they would prefer to be tried in their own court system. Henry declares that the royal courts should take precedence over the church courts, and the dispute between the monarch and the archbishop grows more and more heated. Becket receives little or no support from the other English bishops, and Thomas, fearing for his safety, if not his life, seeks refuge in France. But even from his exile, Becket continues to piss off the king. Thomas excommunicates the bishops of London and Salisbury, and even threatens to deny all of England the holy sacraments. In 1170, an apparent reconciliation seems to be at hand, and Thomas returns to England with cheering crowds lining the route to Canterbury. And Becket, in a series of powerful and prophetic sermons, suggests that he is ready to face death and martyrdom for the church and for Christ. At Henry's court in Normandy, the Archbishop of York speaks out against Becket and tells the king that while Becket lives, you will have neither peace nor quiet, and England will not be a tranquil kingdom. In a fit of rage and a fit of temper, the king expresses the desire to be rid of the archbishop and asks the question, who will rid me of this man? Who will rid me of this low-born priest? Well, 4 of his knights are present in the court and take the king's hasty words to heart and decide to murder Becket. The 4 knights, rightly or wrongly, interpret this as a directive to assassinate Thomas, and they cross the channel to England. On December 29th, 1170, Becket meets the 4 knights outside of Canterbury Cathedral, and angry words are exchanged. They then follow Thomas inside. They draw their swords and strike quickly. At the 3rd blow from their swords, Thomas Becket falls, and with his dying breath, he says, "For the love of Christ and the defense of his church, I am willing to die." The 4th and killing blow cuts off the crown of Becket's head. It will be kept at his shrine and treated, venerated as a holy relic. The murder of Thomas Becket shocks all of Europe, and King Henry II is forced by the Pope to do penance under the threat of excommunication. The Pope forces the king to do public penance at Becket's tomb. Henry begins his public penance with a barefoot walk through the streets and ends his public penance by being vigorously whipped. Public flagellation by several hooded and enthusiastic monks. Judicial independence of the church is reinstated. The benefit of clergy once again stands. And Becket's murder confirmed the preeminence of Canterbury in English religious history. Becket's shrine, Becket's tomb, was protected by a wooden cover and was studded with jewels and precious metals. Many pilgrims from all over Europe journeyed from far and wide to get to the shrine at Canterbury, and many miracles were reported among the venerating. The shrine's contents, the bones of the murdered saint, which considered holy relics. Even today, modern pilgrims still visit the site of Becket's murder and martyrdom in the northwest transept of the Canterbury Cathedral. The shrine of St. Thomas Becket was destroyed by King Henry VIII in 1538 under royal decree. The shrine yielded many cartloads of jewels, gold and silver, for the greedy and overweight monarch. The royal decree by King Henry VIII insisted that Becket no longer be called a saint, but a bishop.